Yo, what's going on, guys? It's T-Brev. Welcome to another MLB The Show 20 video. It's that time again, going over the new program bosses and giving my advice on who you guys should take from the program. If y'all are new to my channel, please drop a like on the video, subscribe for more MLB The Show 20 content. I put out good, consistent content that I'm sure you guys will enjoy. So they just pushed the button after the stream revealing the bosses. The new bosses are Clayton Kershaw, Pudge Rodriguez, and Ty Cobb. I'm going to be going over whether the voucher's worth it and who you should probably be targeting out of this choice pack moving forward in the program. So in general, I do not advise doing the stub voucher, and that is especially true for this program. So there's a bunch of reasons why I think doing the voucher is bad. First of all, it's not worth it unless you are planning on using all three bosses for the rest of the year, because you do have to lock them in and lose those stubs, or unless you're prestiging all three of them. But even if you're going to use 2 out of 3, I still wouldn't recommend doing the voucher. I just don't think it's worth it. So for all three bosses right now, it's about 270,000 stubs. So you're paying that much for 75 program stars, which is really not worth unless you're absolutely going to be one of the first like 10 people that complete this program, which you're probably not going to be even if you don't stop playing from start to finish. So there's just way too many grinders out there. It's become kind of a fad to grind from 0 to 300 stars in one sitting and try to be one of the first people to sell the bosses, so much so that the boss prices have actually risen after the first night the last couple programs. So if you're rushing to sell the boss, you're probably not going to be first, and if you're getting the voucher just to do that, I think it's a big mistake because you're losing out on 270,000 stubs. For these 3 players in particular, Walter Johnson, Bryce Harper, Frank Thomas, I don't know if any of them are necessarily in-game. You guys know, if you watched my last video, I don't like Walter Johnson, and there's a potential that Harper and Thomas could end up as just bench bats by the end of the year, depending on who you like at those positions, because they are very deep positions. So in general, voucher is bad. For this program specifically, voucher is even worse in my opinion. I would not advise doing it. So let's dive into the juicy stuff, the reason you all clicked on this video. Who should you take out of the Henchman Pack? Who should you take out of the Boss Pack? I feel like this program is the opposite of last program, and that last program people didn't know who to take because they were all kind of underwhelming. I feel like this program people are not going to know who to take because they're all insanely good. So I'm excited to bring this video to you guys. Keep in mind, this is just my opinion. I am a top player on this game, but this is just how I feel. You are free to make your own decisions. Please do. I just get asked for my advice a lot with this stuff, so happy to bring you guys this video. For the Henchman Pack, first time they've done this, all 3 are Future Stars cards. Unfortunately, none of them look very good to me. I know Ian Anderson is a very hyped prospect, but his card in game doesn't look too exciting. Not a lot of lateral movement except for the sinker, which is probably not going to break a lot because it's his 4th pitch. Really cool prospect to have in game, but as far as performing at a high level in competitive MLB The Show, I think this card is not going to be very good. He only tops out at 96. Once again, no lateral movement except for a sinker that probably won't break as much, and kind of low control for a 96 as well. Gonna maybe have some issues locating your pitches with Ian Anderson. Skipping over to Mitch Keller, this was one of my least favorite prospect cards when they were just prospects. Unfortunately, I do feel like this card is going to be bad as well. He does throw a little harder. He'll top out at 98. The problem with Mitch Keller is he has one of the most generic pitcher windups in the game, and he's very, very easy to read. He's similar to Zach Brown, and that his delivery is just so simple that even if he had the nastiest repertoire in the game, he still might not be able to fool people as often as someone with a better delivery. So not excited about Mitch Keller either. I feel like this card may be slightly better than Ian Anderson, just because the speed differential is better and he can throw the slider hard. But yeah, both of these pitchers do not look very good for me. Honestly, this Henchman Pack is just going to be really clutch for people still working on the Mike Trout program. And finally, we have the Sean Murphy. So if you guys don't know, I'm an A's fan, so I do have A's bias. That being said, I don't know how to feel about this card. I do feel like as far as competitive MLB The Show, this is the best choice in the pack, but there's so many factors that go into this card. So who do you already have at catcher? Do you like them or not? How much do you value defense over offense? Because obviously this card's defense is the focal point of it. This card on paper for a catcher looks really insane. I mean, he gets good power, both sides, decent contact, diamond defense, 98 arm strength, all the things I always preach about that are good for catchers. However, I used prospect Sean Murphy earlier in the year, and his swing was really bad for me. It remains to be seen whether this increase in attributes will help offset his kind of poor swing that I had earlier in the year, but I'm cautiously optimistic about this card because this card just generated absolutely no exit velocity for me as a prospect version, and his swing seemed really slow. Was not a fan of his prospect card at all. So looks really good on paper. I'm gonna have to use him. He's probably the best choice out of this pack, but to be honest with you, with where we're at in the game cycle, probably none of these three guys are going to make your in-game squad. And let's finally dive into these three boss cards, which are all just so good. Let's start with Pudge Rodriguez. Let me preface this again by saying I think all of these cards are insanely good, and these are just my opinions. I'm just trying to give you guys my best perspective on each of these cards. So if it sounds like I'm dogging on a card, I'm not. I still think all three of these cards are insane. I'm just trying to provide perspective on which ones are better than the other ones for the game state, and so I use that preface with Pudge Rodriguez for a reason. So if you guys didn't play last year, Pudge was the AL collection reward for the live series program. Insane attributes on paper. For me personally, his swing was completely atrocious. I could not get any exit velos with this card last year. I know some people have felt otherwise. A lot of people loved Pudge the whole year last year. I did not, and honestly a lot of other players that I interact with constantly that are top 100, top 50, top 10 also don't like Pudge's swing. So he does look good on paper. Just keep in mind his swing may be a little soft at times. He does have, you know, over the 80 power threshold, which is a big deal, but offensively this card definitely underperformed for me last year, and that's all I have to go off of. So once again, just giving you guys my perspective. Do I think this is a bad card? Not at all. Do I think this is a top tier catcher in the game? Of course. Look at the defense, look at the speed. This is as close to a 5-tool catcher as you will find. I just want you guys to be aware that he's probably not going to hit as well as his attributes show, at least in the power department. Could be different with perfect perfects this year, but last year was a complete line out machine. I will not be taking Pudge out of this pack because I'm already pretty comfortable with my catcher position, and that's a nice segue to talk about the next part, which is a lot of deciding who you're going to take out of this pack is determined by who you're already comfortable with at that position. So if you've been searching for a catcher all year, you just can't find the right guy, definitely give Pudge a shot. I am comfortable with both Matt Wieters and Pablo Sandoval playing catcher for me, depending on whether I'm on All-Star Hall of Fame or Legend. I switch between them. But for you, if you've been struggling to find a good catcher, definitely take Pudge, give him a shot, because you guys know I love arm strength as well from catchers. 99 arm, he's going to throw everybody out. It's one of the main reasons I love Matt Wieters at catcher this year. But yeah, moral of the story, it's going to depend on where you think you can upgrade positions the best, and honestly, spoiler, usually starting pitcher is a good move for that because you get 5 of them. So look at your team, decide which positions of the 3 you need the most help in. That will be the best determinant of who you should take out of this. Next is moving on to Ty Cobb. I am so excited for this card. This card was my in-game outfielder last year, my in-game left fielder. I even used him over Babe Ruth, who was a better outfielder last year than he is this year. This card is ridiculously good. I can't stress how good he is. You guys know I don't value arm strength too much. I think it's one of the least important attributes on outfielder cards, especially if you're going to be playing this guy in left field, but they actually boosted his arm strength this year as well. Last year his arm strength was in the 60s. Now he's got 73 arm, which really isn't that bad, especially when you're just hitting the cutoff most of the time. 90 power, maxed out contact, vision doesn't matter as much this year, and obviously the 99 speed, 99 stealing, and the 95 reaction. So there's a lot going on with this card. I'm going to try to break it down. Also, he's got 99 bunt and 99 drag bunt for those of you that play that way. No judgment being passed, just wanted to throw that out there. But let's look at his defense. First of all, this card can be prestiged, as all the boss cards can be, which means as a prestige version, he's going to get up to 92 fielding in center field, which will give him a diamond shield in center field, which is insane. This card will probably play some of the best center field defense in the entire game. With the speed, reaction, fielding combination, Prestige Cobb will probably run down balls that even Prestige Mickey Mantle and Prestige Mike Trout cannot get to. He also, for some reason, his player model is really good. If you guys didn't know, sometimes fielding animations vary based on player model. A lot of these old guys get really good animations in the outfield just based on how they run and interact with the game. I don't know why, it just is, but he gets great animations in the outfield. He's going to play insane defense on top of the maxed out contact and 90 power and maxed out speed. Also, let's talk about his swing. A lot of these old guys have the exact same swing, and the swing has been amazing, one of the best swings in the game since last year. So I'm talking about Ty Cobb, Lou Gehrig, Rogers Hornsby, Jimmy Fox. All these old timer guys all have the same swing, and it's a really quick two-handed swing, nice follow through, good exit velo. So if Ty Cobb was in any other program, this would be a no doubt pick for me. This card is basically 5 tools. I know he doesn't have the arm strength, but like I said, I don't care about it that much. I cannot put into words how good this card is. Non-prestige Cobb is going to have gold defense in every outfield position, so until he's prestige, I'm going to be playing him in left field. And the nice part about playing him in left field is that he does have the 95 reaction, so when he gets ticked off for his secondary position, his reaction's still above 90, which which I think is a big deal in the corner outfield. The 99 speed, you're going to have no issues defensively with this card, and he's going to absolutely rake. Cannot stress enough how good this card is. If you really like your pitching a lot, or if you need a new left-handed outfielder, this is the guy. I mean, this guy literally might be in my outfield the rest of the year. This card is so good. And finally, we have Cy Young Clayton Kershaw, who looks pretty similar to the Signature Series card last year that tore people's souls apart. There's a lot to talk about with this Clayton Kershaw. I'll try to cover everything that I want to think about. First of all, a Kershaw card is amazing for the meta. We don't have many top tier left-handed starting pitchers, like absolutely in-game lefties, and lineups have been getting a little bit lefty heavy recently, so this is a great counter to the meta. Obviously his pitches are great. His velo is going to be a little down from last year, but I think the prestige version will help with that if you want to grind for that. You do need to know how to pitch with him. Against good players, you can't overthrow the curveball. Against good players, you're going to have to be throwing a lot of sliders and not a lot of sinkers, but overall you can just do so much with this card's pitch repertoire that he's easily a top 5 pitcher in the game already. One thing that should be noted, however, is that a lot of the player base that has still stuck with MLB The Show 20 up to this point has probably stuck with MLB The Show 19 in the past, and so a lot of the players you will be using will have a lot of reps against high-end Clayton Kershaw cards from last year. So it's going to be harder to fool people with this card. If you are playing someone that has a lot of experience on the game, you're going to have to really know how to pitch with this card, and if he gets blown up in a couple starts, that does not mean he's a bad card. Even at the end of last year, when this card was still, in my opinion, the #1 pitcher all year, this card would get blown up from time to time, give up 5 runs in 4 innings. It's going to happen when you're playing good players. So don't look at your ERA. I made a video on that. You can watch about that, but don't expect this guy to shut people down every single start. But what this card provides to you is consistency and the opportunity to shut someone down in a particular start. So he may carry a 6 ERA for 5 starts, but if he throws a complete game shutout in that 6th start, definitely worth it. Gonna be consistently one of the best pitchers in the game, and can't stress enough how good this card is. If you didn't play last year very much, this card defined the meta for the first 2 months of the game cycle. Just an amazing card. Now, to actually answer the question of the title of the video, which card should you pick? In my opinion, you should be taking Kershaw. For the reason I mentioned earlier, you may already have 3 outfielders that you are a big fan of. You may already have a catcher that you're a big fan of. If you're not, like I said, consider these 2 cards. But considering the fact that you get 5 starting pitchers and people are really struggling to find like the back end of the rotation, a lot of people love Kluber, Oral, but after that it gets kind of iffy. So this is another card that could be definitively top 5 for pretty much everyone. So I think he's the move. Being able to throw 99 Clayton Kershaw at people every 5th game is really powerful for being consistently able to climb in ranked seasons. It makes me sad because Ty Cobb is insane, but honestly, this is one of those programs where you may end up picking up all 3. I mean, let's be honest, all 3 of these cards are completely cracked. I know you guys don't want to hear that, and that's why my answer for the video is Kershaw. Definitively, yes. Take Kershaw. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys, at least get the mental juices flowing, help you guys take into consideration all the factors that go into picking who your boss is going to be. For me personally, I'm going to be taking Kershaw and then buying Cobb. I probably won't use Pudge unless people really request a review on him. He scarred me last year, so that's just my opinion. Once again, I know people did well with him, but he did not do well for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope this was helpful for y'all. Once again, drop a like on the video and subscribe if you're new. Drop a comment if you have any questions about any of these cards or you're looking for my advice on this program. I'm happy to help. Appreciate all your guys' support this year. Thanks for watching. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.